Hi there, welcome to No Nonsense Whisky. My name's VinPF, and on today's episode we're going to be doing my first whisky re-review of 2020. Now, I first covered the Teeling small batch in February 2019, so roughly a year or a half or so ago. I think it was review number 198, so you can go and check that out. It's back when I had a little bit of background music as well, and no lighting, so good to do a re-review, because even watching a video a year ago made me cringe a touch. But yeah, so last year I did a sample review of this. I picked up a sample in a Dublin airport in a set of different Teelings. So it's great to be able to do a review of a full-size bottle. You can't actually see where, just about, maybe, if you've got hawk eyes, you might be able to see I'm just about there through this. So it's good to be able to do a review of a full bottle when I get the opportunity. Obviously, I do review sample sizes when I have to, because that's just the nature of the channel right now. But anyway, Teeling small batch, this is one of their range right now, but it's important to remember that this kind of range that you're looking at, this labelled range, is whiskey from a previous distillery, not their current Teeling distillery. So this is from Cooley, and their current stocks of those. When those disappear, we're going to start seeing whiskey from their distillery, and hopefully I'll get a chance to review those at some point in the future. But right now, it's important to remember that this didn't come from the Teeling distillery specifically. So in the year since I've actually covered this, not much has changed. The price hasn't changed much. It's still around that kind of £32 to £35 mark. Still fairly affordable. Obviously, in comparison to some other whiskies, it might not seem that affordable, but when you look at what you're actually getting, then yeah, it's in the right sort of price bracket, depending on where you are in the world. It's still 46%, it's still non-chill filtered, it's still natural coloured, all the things that we like to see. It's still rum finish. Last year I said that it was 6 months finished in rum casks, but the website states that it's up to 12 months. So, 6 months technically is in that, but I want to be kind of honest with you guys and say that I didn't really know that last year, so now I'm telling you it's up to 12 months. Now, a little bit of extra information, if you did catch that video, if you remember it, then kudos to you, but there's some extra information that I didn't have last year that kind of makes a little bit more sense with this. So because it's a small batch, it doesn't say malt whiskey or grain whiskey or anything like that. We know this is a mixture of malt and grain whiskies, specifically grain and malt whiskies, but I actually know the combination this time, so it's actually 3-1. Thankfully, it's on the website, so that's good. That's 3 parts grain to 1 part malt. Now, last year I think I said something like that the marketing gump that came with it said it was like a high malt content. So, yeah, a pinch of salt on that. So it's 3-1. Not too bad. That's kind of what you expect from a lot of blends anyway. Quite a high proportion of grain. Unfortunately, no age statement. Not sure about that, but doesn't really matter, I don't think, in this situation. Of course, before the finishing, which was up to 12 months, it is entirely ex-bourbon. That's both the grain and the malts aged separately in ex-bourbon casks, and we don't know what kind of fill rating they are. Knowing Teeling, I think they've probably a little bit of quality on there, so I imagine if it's not first fill, it's refill and no further down the chain. Let's get into the actual whiskey and see what we got, shall we? On the nose then. I have to say it's got a really good nose. Lots of vanillas, some apple notes going on there, some citrusy notes. It's not like sickly sweet, but there's definitely some sweetness going on there as well. Probably from the rum finish. Let's get onto the palate. Oh, okay, so first impression of this, it's extremely spicy on the front end. When that sort of disappears a little bit, you're getting some vanillas. That citrus kind of was a bit nondescript for me on the nose. It's now turned into a kind of orangey note. And then at the back end, really, really deep behind it, you're getting these kind of dried fruits notes, which I guess is the rum influence. In terms of finish, it's not like super long, but it's kind of medium long, very spicy, and actually really nice throughout. Good finish. I'm enjoying that because there's two kind of finishes that really make me pick up a glass again, and that's the kind of super soury ones, which make me want to revisit the sweetness of the dram that's produced this sour notes, really strange notes, and ones like this that just keep giving from the palate, same, and it just kind of peters off over time. Really tasty, really tasty. So yeah, I think actually I'm on a par with last year. I've picked out a few extra tasting notes that I didn't get last year, so hopefully that's my palate expanding a little bit. And hopefully you got some more information off of this video. But it's really in the same ballpark, I have to say. I'm still enjoying it. It's still worth the price. In fact, you could probably say that after a year's worth of inflation, it's still the same price, so you might be getting better value now than you did last year. That's getting into economy. But I still think it's got a good place while it's still around. I imagine this is going to disappear eventually. I did say that last year, and it still hasn't, so hopefully we can get it for years to come, but we'll see. Pour in a set of different Teelings. So it's great to be able